Alright, guys, this video is going to be about, well, I'm just going to be reacting to this video about Godfrey talking about Japanese relationship with Nigeria, and let's do it.
With Asians, if they really like, yo, we are from Africa, damn. Do you know, watch this. Our connection to Japan is amazing. When I was in Tokyo, I'm walking past, I go, man, I noticed Japanese are similar to Nigerians. Their names. Fumi is a Japanese name.
Yeah.
Fumi is a Yoruba name.
Yeah, it is.
Same spelling. I said, what's going on? I walked past this store, it said Chukuwa. It spells like my name except the M is missing. I go, what the hell? I said, I'm Chukua. Same spelling, exact spelling. I go, what the is going on? Then I was dating this Japanese girl once. She couldn't speak English that well, and she's teaching me Japanese, and she's doing the Japanese sound. There's the sound thing. Ba 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 bo bo, a ba be ba bo. Same as African languages. The same sound exercises. Same. Then I find out on YouTube, the Edo. The
Edos.
Edo is a town in Japan because of Nigerian, like some Nigerians, like samurai, came over there and established Edo
In
Japan.
in Japan, not in Africa.
Came over because they're black Japanese people. Yo, there's a connection to Nigerians and the Japanese, man. Telling you. It's crazy because Edo, my cousin's Edo.
Yeah, I played with some cats.
And EDO, that's a place in Japan because of Nigerian presence. It just came out.
Listen, Godfrey. I like listening to Godfrey. He's a really funny, cool person, and he actually, respects a lot of cultures. Even never really disrespects Black American culture too. Even though we know the truth about Black American culture, right? Europe, Native American slavery, but he's talking like an agent right now. He's talking like an agent. I don't believe personally he's hiding that many Africans, specifically Nigerians and people of Benin, come from Asia or Japan, right? But it just like, how in the world do you look at a place called Edo, Japan, and not understand that this land belongs to Nigerian people? So there's the Edo people, right? Edo, Nigeria. Edo tribe, right? So he's saying that they came from Africa and created this land. No. What if they never came from Africa and they were in Japan and created this land? Because they were there before the Canaanite got there, right? All you have to do is type Edomites taken out by Assyrians. It wasn't just Jacob kicked out of Asia. The Assyrians did not permanently take out or destroy the Edomites. Instead, the Neo-Assyrian Empire reduced Edom to a vassal state that paid heavy tribute. The eventual destruction of the Edomite kingdom and the displacement of its people were primarily carried out by the Babylonians centuries later. Right? So Edom lost their civilization. Shem genealogy. Listen. Shem comes from Arphaxad, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. That's the Edo people of Nigeria. Benin. The Neo-Assyrian is the Ashur. That's a different black group. All you have to do is type richest person in Nigeria. the what's his name? Alico Dangoit goat. Right? Then you got Tinubu. What's his name? Bola Tinubu. Now he might be Edom. Right? What's his net worth? 6 billion, 6 billion, right? His is what? What's his net worth? 28 point, right? You don't think that these two leaders of Nigeria, right? Let's type poorest areas in Nigeria. Sokoto State. Let's do is Edo State poor. It might not be poor, but let's see. Okay, it's not considered poor, but let's do is Yoruba. Okay, let's do poor. All right, poorest areas in Nigeria. Nigeria, right? What tribes live in Sokoto, Nigeria? The Haswa and Fulani, who make up the mass majority. That's kind of weird, but why it's saying that, but what I'm trying to say is, right, the Assyrians helped destroy the Edomite kingdom, which was in different parts of Southeast Asia, but definitely in Japan, Edo, Japan, which is Tokyo today, right? So I'm just saying that, the leaders, they want you to say Africans went there and built it, because African is the Assyrian and the Elamite. The Elamite and the Assyrian. I mean the Ashurite and the Elamite, which is the Assyrians and the Persians, right? So those people took Jacob and Esau out. First Jacob and then Esau, and then you also had Lot taken, Moabites taken out too. So what I'm saying is, right? I'm saying when you're saying that Africans went to Japan and built it, you're talking as an Assyrian. You're not talking as a person of Abraham. You're talking as an Assyrian. That's Assyrian talk. The Papua New Guinea people of Melanesia, Fiji people, they are Abrahamic. Arphashad, they are from Abraham. The reason they're still there, right? I mean, one of the reasons they're still there is because, they weren't conquered by the Assyrian. They went to the islands, right? But since you guys had to go where the Assyrian told you to go, you have to call yourself African. They don't got to call themselves African. They can call themselves Asian, Fijian, Indo. They can call themselves anything they want. But you guys have to call yourself African because of these two groups, Elam and Ashur. Let's get back to the point.
I was like, yo. So whereas the connection to all of us is bananas, it's just they try to erase everything.
Yeah.
Because there's black Japanese people. They have a whole black Japanese military that from the early 1900s, all black, and they're Japanese. You go to the Philippines, the Negritos are black Filipinos. They got hair like us, the Negritos, in the mountains. But they don't show them because they go, we can't show that. The Chinese too. I'm telling you, the original Thai people, you gotta see them. It's whole black Thai people. But they don't want to show that. You got Melanesia, Micronesia, Melanesia, where they have the blonde afros with no European contact.
Yeah, just right outside of Fiji.
It's called Melanesia, for Christ's sake. Melanie. It's like, you're like, what? Wait a minute. We're using the same comb, dog. What's that? Yeah. And then they start doing their tribal stuff. You go, I don't know.
The lapa.
My father would wear the lapa
Lapa, yep.
when he's at home. Nigerian men like to wear the lapas at home, and we put the little robe over thing. Him and my father, same thing. And my father said, "Give me my lapa."
Yeah.
I said, "Boom." Then I'm in Hawaii. They're wearing lapas. What's going on? Everybody's wearing. I'm sure they call it something different, but I'm like, yo. And then
And actually, the Samoans call it lava. Is it lava?
maybe lava Samoa.
Samoa. Yeah.
Because my here is this is Tonga. This is Tonga. This is Tonga connected to my Igbo. I put Igbo when my parents passed. I put
pretty cool.
That's an Igbo mask, and I put the dots because my mother spoke Yoruba also. She grew up in Lagos.
Okay.
So she would flip the languages. So that's the Yoruba.
You see
That's
the tribal marks.
Tribal marks
Yep,
for Yoruba
yep.
and Igbo. So it's both. And then I connected it because Tonga. I love Southeast. I love the Pacific Islands.
First of all, we gotta get you some damn lotion on that thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Let's go. He's talking.
Yeah.
And it's connected.
Yeah.
And it's connected because I remember this guy, he was a Samoan like historian. He was a bouncer, this guy named Olo out here when I used to party in LA. And he was like, he would just talk to me about like, oh no, we're connected. Because Olo had a big old nose. He's Samoan, his big old afro. And I go, man, you like a black Asian? He goes, well, yeah. Because back in ancient times, the seafarers, the Africans and the Asiatic people met. And that's why we look the way we look. I said, because I'm into anthropology.
Godfrey. Okay. So this is why I'm telling he's an agent. Because listen, man, the average person is not gonna go look at a map, right? The average person ain't gonna look at a map and understand that Africa's nowhere near Samoa. So we're gonna do it from a person that actually looks at it. So when we look at the map of Africa with Asia, right? Okay. Look at this. Africa, like he's over here. This is West Africa. And that Samoa is somewhere over here in the Pacific Islands. Dang, it's so many islands. Wow. Dang, but so you would have to take a boat from over here, some maybe going this way, and then over here to get there, or you have to go down here and then take a boat to get to there, or you can go walk in Asia and then go right there. But instead of doing all that, right, if you actually study the history, Indonesia map we'll do Samoa. Right? We'll use this map. When you look, right, you got Papua New Guinea, Indonesia. Remember, the indigenous people of Papua New Guinea. Oh, no. Indonesia. The indigenous people of, of Indonesia. Let me get to it. Right. So you got the Java, Madura, Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Lesser Sunda Islands, Moluccas, and Papua. Right? You got the Asmat, Amangmi, Balzi, Dani, Sawi, Yor, Biak, Santani, Mamak, Yali, Arfak, which sounds like Arfashad, which we learned from Lex Will. Dawa, sounds like David, but might not be. Mek, Mani, Yapen, Nagalam. These groups are a smaller group that's indigenous to Indonesia. And remember, we already know Papua New Guinea is Indonesia. It is part of Indonesia. It's bordered to it. So before, all of it was Papua New Guinea. but they had to escape the other Indonesians and go to Papua. They were going by Islam, right? They got that. They got their butts out and formed a land in Papua New Guinea. And others went to Solomon Island. Others went to Vanuatu, Fiji, New Caledonia. They tell you just Melanesia, but it was really all these islands. Some went to Cook. Where's Samoa? I can't find Samoa. But you see how close they are, right? There's Samoa right there. Samoa's right here. You see how close Papua New Guinea is to Samoa, right? Just a little boat ride down there. Instead of going all the way from that to from Africa, right? So Godfrey, I can look at the map and show you it ain't that far to Samoa. You gotta be indigenous to Indonesia to get there. And then we already see Philippines right there, the Negro Islands right here. The Manik, the Aita could get there too, sir. But yeah, let's get to the video.
I love origins.
I gotta
anthropology, and
you go deep with it too.
Yeah, because I know my buddies go deep with it. Because when you travel these countries, you go, what is black people doing here? What the hell's going on? Yo, tell me.
It's like uncovering the big lie.
Yes.
It's like uncovering. Wait a second.
Why are they?
Thank you. He's smart. But he's an agent too, because when they're saying big lie, they're not saying big lie as in like we were lied to. We're actually from Asia. They're gonna say, "Oh my gosh, Africans discovered Asia first." Really? So you know how we say we're black, right? Here in America. So when we're saying we're black, we're saying that we are descendants of black Europeans who claim to be slaves in Africa. That's what we're saying. Right? Just like over there, the people in Africa, they're being told that they're African when what they're really saying is that we are people that were displaced by Neo-Assyrians. That's what y'all don't understand. Black Africans are people who were displaced by Neo-Assyrians. Let's look up did Neo-Assyrians displace Moabites? Okay, now did not displace or exile the Moabites, instead annexing the territory and deporting its population. The Neo-Assyrian chose to keep Moab as a semi-autonomous vassal state. Through the late 18th and 17th century, Moabite kings such as Salamanu and Masuri simply paid regular tribute to Assyrian monarchs. Okay. But all I gotta say is, why is Moab not there anymore? Why they're in South Sudan today? Right? Let's get back to the other part.
Oh yeah, because sometimes people, it's just, you got Cuban Chinese because Chinese workers came to Cuba in the 60s. That's why in New York we got Cuban Chinese restaurants, which are fire as hell. We got Chinese and Cuban food. You're eating oxtail and chow mein, bro. This shit's crazy. They're flipping
That's
the
a great combo too, by the way.
Yeah, they're like ni hao, ni hao. They're like, what's that? They're flipping the Spanish. Yeah, but it's sometimes you have that where you have Trinidadian Indians that went to work in Trinidad. There's that where people travel and work, but then there's he's like a god. Been kicked out. Remember they locked her up. She looked like a black lady. Look that shit up. The last Queen of Hawaii, where the U.S. kicked her out and all this other stuff. They look like black people. I was like, something's up.
I've never gone into the history of the Hawaiians.
I love all that stuff.
You just have this image of what the Hawaiians look like and just go...
No, yeah, because they have an Asiatic... No, but the original ones, dark. Yeah. I'm like, what's going on here? And the surf...
Because Hawaii is... Oh my gosh. I just told you the indigenous people of Indonesia. Remember guys, Indonesia is Papua New Guinea. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Indo people who came from somewhere else took it from them. The ones that weren't scared, they went to the mountains, and a lot of them died while they fought. And a lot of them are in the mountains right now. The ones that weren't gonna fight and try to escape to the mountains and live in the wilderness, Exodus, right? They took a boat and got out, went to Papua New Guinea, formed a different land, went to Solomon Islands, blah blah, right? All other places, Hawaii too, right? And Australia too. And the rest that said, I ain't leaving nowhere, dead. right? So it's not that complicated, man.
Surfing, when, because you think of white surfing, guess what? Surfing, there's a documentary called Whitewash, and it's about black surfers. And you know who Ben Harper is?
No.
Ben Harper, he was married to Laura
There
Dern.
go to black word. I keep trying to tell you that black is used, so that term black was used to kick you out of Asia. It's just the difference between the black American and the black American, the black Caribbean. So, okay, this difference between the Western black and the African black is that the Western black, the African black, when they were displaced and kicked out of Asia by the Assyrian black, right? The difference is they kept their culture and their tribe and somewhat of their language that they have in Asia, and but they were told to that they call themselves African because the Assyrian is over them, right? So that's why they don't mind calling them. They don't mind saying they're African because they kept their tribal, culture and etc. That's why they're Edom, because Edom's gonna know most Edomites are gonna know their culture. But in America, right? In the Western Hemisphere, right? Many of us, not all, but a lot of Black Americans were slaves coming from Africa, and we don't. Many of us don't know our tribe, our language, because it was taken according to the Bible. You're never gonna know that you're Judah, Benjamin. You're gonna have to find that out on your own. They're never gonna tell you that. The Assyrians not gonna tell you that. They'll tell the Edom who they are, but Edom today doesn't want to. Edom in the Western Hemisphere, America, Canada, Caribbean, South America, they don't want to go by their true culture, which is Europe, right? They don't want to go by that. They want to be American. They want to be Brazilian, Jamaican. Shoot, they even want to say they're from Africa, or even indigenous to the land. But all of them come from Europe, right? You don't know who you are because the Assyrian, which was instructed by the Most High, was to take everything from you. So.
Dern from Jurassic Park. He's like an alternative. He's a black dude. He's a place to go. The documentary Dogtown, Sean Penn is.
Okay, you watch the rest on your own. Let's go to the next one.
Our language is kind of like Japanese, actually.
Listen. I was talking about the connection to Japan and African languages.
We have
similar.
Oh yeah, we have words that that are Japanese that are also in Zimbabwe in the language Shona. Like Tanaka.
That's Japanese.
It means you're beautiful in my language, but it's
Tanaka. Because what does Tanaka mean in Japanese? Can you look that up? That's usually a last name.
Tanaka, yeah. There's so many.
My middle name is Chukuma, but there's Chukua in Japan. You said what?
Center of the rice paddy.
Center of the rice paddy. That's beautiful. Listen, there's connections with Africa and Japanese. Well, everybody comes from Africa, but the language in African languages, the K's and the U's, because Fumi is Yoruba name, but Fumi is also the same name in Japan. And then there was Edo. There's a tribe. My cousin's Edo, EDO. That's a town in Japan. So there was African presence in Japan.
There we go. African presence. The Assyrian talk. That's the Assyrian Elamite talk. The Assyrian talk. African presence. Once you say African presence, you were never in Japan. Never. All the history that happened of blacks being in Japan is gone when you say African presence. Right? This is why a lot of Black Americans and Africans have, we have a lot of, conflict, because you guys want to say everything's African, but you don't understand what you're saying when you're saying African. You're talking about Elam and Ashur. They took everything from Jacob first, then Esau, then Moab, then the whole, right, and then they lost it too, sort of. But yeah. But yeah, y'all. Remember, all Shemites are Afro-Asiatic, which means if you have a Afro, you're a Negro, you're from Asia. Black Americans, Black Caribbeans, Black South Americans, West Africans, Central Africans, East Africans, Pacific Islanders. They already know. They're just being a little bit tricked too. But we are all from Asia. We are the indigenous Southeast Asian. All you have to do is this. It's so simple. What is the indigenous people of Southeast? Okay. Who are the indigenous people in Southeast Asia? All right. Now they kind of go into a little, let's type it again. Who are the indigenous people of, okay. Who is indigenous to Southeast Asia? Oh my gosh. Who is indigenous to Southeast Asia? The original inhabitants of Southeast Asia are the Negrito populations, such as the Semang in Peninsular Malaysia, the Manik in Thailand, and Daita in Philippines. So if you know Negrito, what does Negrito mean? I mean, I already know what it means. It means little black people, but I'm going to let the AI tell you. What does Negrito mean? Little black person or little Negro. You might think, well, how could they be us if they're little? Well, who is indigenous to Negroes Island? The indigenous people of Negroes Island are the Ati, Negritos. But here's the trick they tricked you, right? Negroes Islands in Philippines, right? It was called Negroes Island. And the indigenous are the Negrito. They call the Negritos little. However, right? When you're in America, right? When the police, well, I don't want to say that. Well, yeah. When the racist, when he's calling 911 because he don't think these people belong here, right? What does he say? These niggas are in my house. These niggas don't belong here. They don't belong here. What do you think the Spaniard said when he came to Negroes Island, Philippines? You think he said these negritos? Yes, he did see negritos, but you guys don't get it. These niggas are on the island. You get it?